Yeah, it's a big test for them. I think they have some access to a couple of their more well favored picks. Again, that Venomancer is something we've seen 4F play a ton. I'm not sure if you're going to draft it this early though for T1, but it builds into your push with the NP nicely, and it's also somewhat of a way of dealing with that more if they wanted to. Nope, they go for the keeper instead. You don't have the best combinations here for keeper. You're not seeing the Ember Spirit in the pool. You're not seeing the Bristleback come out just yet, although you could maybe draft that in here for T1. It's a bit of an awkward spot for it, but you could. And it's still potent, right? Like, you've still got that sustain in lane. You've still got the Will-O-Wisp for team fights. That can do a lot of work. I just want to see more follow-up to it. There's really not much to build off of that.
Right. Right. That fourth pick may reveal a bit more for T1 for us. We'll have to wait for Fnatic to make their third pick. Arguably should be the Ice hero now. They have been taking a bit of time here for these picks, but no, Savage will pick up the Troll Warlord for himself, and it's not really what we were expecting, but there you have it.
Yeah, I think it's still pretty darn good here. It does give you early fight potential as well. Again, we've seen Savage play this one a lot, and he does have a lot of success in it, so I don't blame Fnatic for that. Would be interesting to see what he does opt for a build. If he goes for the Battle Fury or if he goes for the Diffusal or something earlier. T1, they do pick up the Spec. So they want to maybe stall the game out, grow big in the Spectre, just be a menace. I have a couple of issues with this pick, though. You've already got the Tiny Winter Wyvern, which can kind of punish that. And the Troll, depending on how Savage builds it, can come online a bit faster. So I'm not sure if there's enough time for the Spectre to really grow big here.
Yeah, we've seen the Troll vs Spectre multiple times, and I believe every time we've seen it throughout this Pro Series, the Troll has won the matchup. It just seems like the Spectre never really gets to that point where it just becomes a powerhouse. And well, Fnatic now. The one pick we always see up against Spectre is the Necrophos, and of course, there it is.
Yeah,
it's
straightforward.
Just such an obvious pick for Ice in that off lane.
Yeah,
that scares me for T1.
Makes it harder for them to buy that space for the Spectre. And now the momentum you're seeing from Fnatic, I think it all lines up really well. All of these heroes don't take too long. Only the Troll really takes some build-up, but you can mitigate that for going for a faster set of items, a much more fighty build for Savage, which is an option. I think you're going to have to see something come out here from T1 for their mid that is a lot more disruptive, that can give them that space, because you look at an NP Tusk and Keeper, not really, the kind of aggression you want to see to buy space for a Spectre. It's not quite enough. They need a mid that is equally as fast to help them get that space going.
It's going to be just like one of those, a Void Spirit game. Just some really fast-paced kind of lineup for the side of Fnatic. Of course, they do ban out the DP, so they won't have that option. But you could really just go something like a Void Spirit, a Pugna. Yeah, Pugna would actually be decent because you have the Necrophos. You don't want it to be countered by the Pugna. We'll see. Fnatic ban out that Queen of Pain now, so potentially a TA as well could come out here from this Fnatic side. That could also work. So many options for Moon.
Radiant team pick.
And of all things, the Mirana pops out.
Yeah, that's quite the way to close out the draft. It's open at the end. It's really open at the end. Like, which one does get the core role, whether or not it's the Mirana or the Tiny, is up in the air, because we've seen DJ play the Mirana a couple of times as well. And he does fantastic work in the hero. So a lot of options for Fnatic. This gives them a slight advantage because they can toss around their roles right after T1 makes their choice for mid to find that favorable matchup. And this does play into the fastness of Fnatic's draft. So there's a lot of early aggression that can come out here, not a lot of farm required. And you look to Fnatic to try to close the game out before that Spectre can really take over. It's going to be a rough one
Does
for
it
that
ever
Spectre.
take over though? You've got a Reaper Scythe there. That's the problem.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky to get to that point. You can. It's just such a long investment, and
Invoker.
that last pick,
Okay.
an
In your
IYD
dreams.
Invoker. Okay, yeah.
What's with that? That's a funny hat on the Invoker. I'll get us to the full screen mode so we can have a look at that. That doesn't match at all. What
no,
is
but
that?
it's the wizard hat. It's the wizard hat. You gotta have it. And this closeout from P1 gives them that potency for early aggression. There is a way for the Invoker to buy that space. It just doesn't feel like it's going to be enough. And you look at Fnatic, they actually do run the Moon Mirana. So it is DJ on the Tiny. And Mirana against Invoker, that should be fairly even until the Invoker starts to get some spells up. You look to T1 whether or not they're going to go for those early Sunstrike kills with the Nature's Prophet Sprout. There's potency there. It's just that you don't really tend to see that investment in Invokers early on for that spell. So T1 have to buy that space. Even if you're up against a Necrophos, the Spectre will still need a lot of space. Whether or not it's going to be enough is a different question. I do agree with you. Fnatic's draft, it just has the answers.
It's going to be a tough game for T1. I would say this game's much tougher than the first game, just based on drafts. There goes your Keeper of the Light. That is just a very, very strange hat on the Invoker. And they all fall down.
They all... Yeah, you gotta love it. They're just done.
Is this what Valve thought that people would do when they put this into the Battle Pass? Just everyone would just go for the die option?
No, I mean, you have this playground that everyone instantly mutes and hides anyway as well.
Speaking of, I haven't hit it yet. Just wanting to see who's playing, and we have a tiny Mirana matchup, it seems like. Moon and DJ going at it for the last seat. Who wins it? It is Moon. Congratulations, Moon. That's enough.
Yeah.
That's enough of that.
Good job. Yeah. Great job. And T1. It's hard to say whether this draft is better than game one. I would actually say no. I think I did like that game one draft a bit more. Because you did have the potency of the Darkseer, although it never kicked in. But you had that potency with the Darkseer, Earth Spirit, and Grimstroke. In here, there are ways to make this work. It's not easy. And okay, so IYD crashes again. Oh, gotta wait out a bit more.
Oh, this is the one thing I look forward to when we got told we were casting this this Pro Series. Just all the spam of the voice lines.
Oh yeah.
Nothing like SEA when it comes to Battle Pass.
Oh yeah. Definitely. I think Savage is enjoying those Korean lines a bit much.
They're the
He
best
mentioned in
ones.
game one.
The Korean lines are the best. Honestly, they are. Like them and the your people, the Filipinos, right?
Lon and Duno.
Lon and
My
Duno,
two boys.
right.
Yeah, great guys. It's a pleasure working with them. Really cool. But yeah, I think Savage mentioned this was his dream last year, so props to him for finally getting to the whaling point. We're not going to report that to any whaling authorities, of course. It's perfectly fine here. Oh, another crash. Of course.
Another crash, another playground.
Indo comp. Forev. Come on.
I don't understand what's going on, sir.
Oh, Forev's just playing Indonesian computers, apparently.
That's not nice.
Come on, Forev. He's your teammate. He's your teammate. You know? Oh, man.
Savage
That was
taking
long
their
enough
time.
that they've got their all chat again, you know? Yeah. It's that long that they got their chats up again.
Oh, goodness gracious. Who needs casters anymore, right? You just let the players do that job as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there you go. That's it. We can just take a back seat here and observe. That's it.
Absolutely. Surprised you haven't asked any of the players in lobby what their favorite noodle type are, John. You haven't had that conversation today with
Their
Fnatic
favorite
or
what?
T1.
Sorry,
Their favorite
it
noodles,
chopped
John.
off me. Oh, nah, not this time. I know. I just felt the aura of the lobby, and it seemed pretty serious.
I
Except
see.
for Savage throwing an emote out, but that was it. That's all the interaction. Maybe later on, maybe when the droid's there, we can have some beside trash talk for a bit for fun, you know, just to keep you guys confused. I love it when you and Zex are confused in the lobby. It's always nice to have everyone else not understand.
That's fair enough. Paulson looking at DJ on that tiny. They probably won't make the jump. Like, you do have the potential there to just first blood on that tiny, but I'm sure Paulson will just want to wait until you get to that point where you're in the laning stage and just try to go for the early first blood with that tag team. DJ just having a bit of a dance. Nothing wrong with that. You know, back in my day, John, disco balls actually existed. These days, I don't see any disco balls anymore.
Well, I wouldn't know. I haven't been out in 3 months, so I haven't seen one.
Don't lie, John. You didn't go out before that anyway.
The sad thing is I can't say that's false.
Fnatic, they end up finding 2 bounty runes. T1, they find 2 for themselves. Another great even start. And yeah, they are going to start off with this tri-lane. Should really mean an easy first blood here for the side of T1, because you will have the tag team from Paulson. Unless DJ makes an amazing toss on the task, which could stop all that from happening.
Yeah, it's nice to see this coming out from T1 again. They have been trying these tri-lanes. Paulson?
Yeah, goes in. Wants the Necrophos though, but there's the toss.
Boink. Oh boy.
DJ knew. They knew it was coming. If I knew, they knew.
Oh yeah. And this is really gonna hurt their level 1 aggression. I mean, they're trying again, but the toss is gonna be up.
Yeah, DJ, he's not going to let them get close to Ice. Of course, the weakness of the Necrophos is these early levels before you get that Ghost Shroud up. That's really the only time he's susceptible. It's like after the Ghost Shroud's there, you just can't kill him anymore. They certainly don't have much magic damage. In fact, a nice toss back onto Miracle. It'll lead to nothing, just DJ trying to get an extra tick of damage out onto that Spectre. Mid lane, in your dream on that Invoker, going to be up against Moon on the Mirana, which is not exactly the lane matchup I thought we'd be seeing in the second game.
No.
Who do you think it favors?
Well, it looks like Moon is having the better time so far. 6-3 up against IYD's 4-1. Just a bit of an earlier start. Again, the Invoker takes a few levels to really kick in. Maybe by the time he's 5, he can start to leverage that additional set of stats he gets, but earlier on, Moon's just gonna be fine. He just has better range, has really decent base damage, should be able to clear out these waves consistently.
In your dream, of course, going for the Quas Wex build, which is very, very standard these days, but that does mean we're not going to see any real early Sun Strikes. Imagine in your dream should be going for an early Spirit Vessel as well, as you tend to do with this build, which will help, of course, up against the Necrophos. But, uh-oh. Bounty has been placed. Eyes are on Paulson now. The other day, we did see a 5-man bounty being placed on a Pangolier. I believe it was Hustler. They did get it. And Paulson, well, there's a bounty.
Oh.
You can't stay there, sir. He is going to die, and of course, Savage is going to claim the bounty for himself.
Oh, man.
When Fnatic puts a bounty out, you cannot stay around. They will always chase for it.
Oh, certainly not. And first blood in the bounty, Savage must be feeling pretty fantastic. You do see Forev in that offlane on the NP. It's not applying enough pressure on Savage, and there's really not much you can expect from the NP in this case. You know, it's going to have to be a farming lane.
Jocam's in trouble, but Ice may have gone too far. A great shards out from Paulson with the tag team, and now Ice. might end up going down here. In fact, no, they can't finish the job off. DJ looking to go back in now. He does have toss, though misses Miracle. Gets a creep instead. And both sides will go back and lick their wounds.
Yeah, it's surprising that Jabs makes that early rotation, though. It looks like they really just want to apply that pressure onto Miracle, realizing they could leave Savage up. They just want to match this aggression from T1.
Now DJ making that mid-rotation, trying to see if he can find In Your Dream out of position, but he'll also stack for his Mirana. Power Rune coming up. Regen Rune it is for DJ, but it will get cancelled immediately. Paulson, of course, making sure that that they don't give that refresh over to, or the regen over to the Mirana, because that wouldn't be very, very nice. Not for In Your Dream.
Oh, Ice.
Trouble still doesn't have the Ghost Shroud up. He does have some stick charges. Will heal up.
Oh.
Now Miracle getting low. The toss is there. It's not quite enough yet, but the Cold Embrace Jabs will ensure that the Necrophos will survive, and the Spectre will ultimately end up dying.
And it's almost like game one. We saw T1 try to run a tri-lane. It didn't pay off then. This time they're losing their Spectre while maintaining a tri-lane. Not the best bit of news for T1. They're losing out on a lot of EXP to get this done, and you're still losing your Spectre.
Nobody's actually up in the off lane right now for T1 either. Savage has got a completely free lane. Every time the Nature's Prophet does return, he just kind of gets forced out. Paulson bot lane trying to go back onto Ice. Just not the greatest of ideas, and unfortunately for the side of T1, Ice is about to hit that level 5 mark, where you usually will see the Ghost Shroud being leveled up. If he feels that it's necessary, he may just go into the Death Pulse, just instead, because he can. But he just seems unkillable already.
Yeah, they don't really have the answer anymore for Ice. Like, every single time they start to commit, Ice already has a fair bit of wand charges just to sustain himself, and DJ's always there with damage, in fact.
Paulson, you've got to run away, sir. DJ is turning around now, though TP going to be there. They should have the damage, and they do. Jocam, with the quick Illuminate, will be able to finish off that Tiny. Paulson does barely survive with his life intact.
Some great punishment from T1. Just forcing DJ out when he should not have really stayed around for that long, and does give them just a bit more to play with. It still doesn't fix what Miracle's going through, though. Still having to contest with Ice, and he's finding some last hits, but not as much as Ice is.
They're going to try going on to that Necrophos. In Your Dream rotating over. Ghost Shroud being leveled up, but he has no mana to use. Then that will mean he is going to die. It took 4 heroes, but they do finally get him.
I'm not sure about that commitment. That's so much to give. Like, you look at mid, it's free for Moon. You look at top, Savage is going on that tier 1 already. So, you find that kill, but all the other cores from Fnatic are still finding a lot more. In fact, Savage, chasing for it.
He wants the kill. He needs to get lucky with the snares, though. He's not really getting there. Now the tree blocks are really nice from Forev. He will save himself. However, Moon, mid lane, does end up filing Paulson. They do lose DJ in the process. Moon still wanting to go back onto In Your Dream, but eventually will retreat. So a nice little 1-for-1 trade on those position 4s in that mid lane. And now Moon could be in a little bit of trouble as In Your Dream. Thinking about turning around onto that Mirana. But Moon just feels so safe with those leap charges.
It's just really hard to pin Moon down. They rotate again, 3 heroes down mid, but they're not going to find anything.
Miracle having to haunt out because he was going to get reaped back towards, but Ice, he saw that. Can he get vision? Miracle a bit stuck right now. He'll be okay. Jabs doesn't have Arctic Burn either, so he can't really fly over that tree line and scout him out. In Your Dream now with a nice tornado into the EMP. Ice, no mana, and the Nature's Wrath. It's a lot of damage, and Forev, he will pick up a double kill. Now snowballing into Jabs, sprout him up. Throw some ice there as well. He will Cold Embrace, but ultimately Jabs should definitely just be dead. He's only level 3. And those rotations were actually very, very nice from T1.
Yeah, it's starting to pay off with these movements in. They save their spec. They find a couple of good kills. It's starting to balance it out just a bit, but even if there's 6-3 right now, you're still having a lot of farming issues. Fnatic still maintains a 1k lead, and Savage and Moon are still above everyone else on the side of T1.
That they are. That's the real problem here. Like, you're focusing on Ice, which is going to be important, but we've seen this over and over again throughout multiple games for Fnatic, where most teams will really just focus on trying to shut down Ice, but you leave the mid and the top lane alone, and then Savage and Moon just get out of control. They'll go again in your dream. Gonna show up down at the bot lane. They drain the mana of Ice with the Cold Snap, but the Moonlight Shadow will be able to save this Necrophos this time around. And I'm not sure how worthwhile it is making these rotations any longer. Like, you've still got Savage farming up so nicely on this troll. In fact, where is Savage? There he is, farming the jungle now. He is going into the Battle Fury build as well, so with all this free farm, he just feels like he can afford to.
He definitely can. Like, there's just no contestation. You'd expect T1 to try to punish, get some deep rewards out, but they're forced to ward defensively because of how aggressive Fnatic has been. And even if they're finding a couple of these kills, it's still not enough. Fnatic is still finding that farm. You look at Miracle, and he just finished up those power treads. Gotta save into something big here.
Savage joining his team now. In fact, never mind. He's going to go back towards his ancient stacks and start farming that up instead. I thought he may join them for a T1 tower push, but perhaps the presence of In Your Dream on that Invoker is going to be enough to force them back. Moon is still sticking around, however. Ice also there just behind. Fnatic. Yeah, they'll just take their time. I think just keeping In Your Dream here down at the bot lane is already going to be effective enough, right? Because you've got this Invoker that's soaking XP with 2 other supports right now, trying to defend the T1, but this is not what he really wants to be doing. Instead, they'll try on to Ice again. Snowball, EMP going to be there, but Ghost Shroud has been popped. Forever will TP in as well. And again, the Necrophos probably will die. I don't know if it's really well worth it, though. I don't think it is.
It's not. It's really not. Because he's not the problem. Ice does not care. He's giving space towards his more important cores. And they still find that tier 1 bot anyway. So they find the objective in exchange for that Necrophos. Even if you're at 7-3 right now for T1, you're still behind 2k. That means your Spectre is just not finding as much farm.
Miracle is still trying to get that farm up on that Spectre. He hasn't fallen too far behind. He's at 4k net worth right now. He's really just focused on that jungle farm. No quick buy items yet, so we don't really know what kind of item build he's going for. But mid lane, there is a jump there onto Jokam. Moon gonna get snowballed, but does leap away. Now Miracle gonna join in, but Moon will just leap away again. And we'll give Miracle the tip as well. T1 are really just sticking as a team. Like, they're constantly 4 heroes in a lane, just making sure no T1s are going down. Which is all fine, right? Because you can just allow the Spectre to keep free farming in the jungle as well. And just run a 4 protect 1. It's just that we've already seen that before. And the Reaper Scythe kind of deletes that idea anyway.
Yeah, the biggest issue here is that it's not very efficient for all of them to group up. You look at Fnatic, they've been getting steady farm and EXP onto Jabs. They've been able to give some space towards DJ as well. He's saving up for his blink on the Tiny. Ice is the only one to fall behind, really, but he's the guy taking the risky farm. And he's been the bait to lure T1 in away from everyone else. So you're still finding a lot more here on Fnatic because of just how much T1 is committing to stay together, they will try to push that top tier 1. I don't know if this lane is going to matter too much, although it looks like Fnatic is around to try to defend.
We do have a pause coming out. Fnatic was smoked up, they were looping around, but again, you have to fight into 4 heroes. So Fnatic may not really want to take this fight. I don't think Ice is too interested in jumping in with his team right now. So, I mean, they already found the bottom tier 1 tower on the side of Fnatic. There's no need to try and defend this one. It just ends up being a trade.
Yeah. It's a pretty dead lane for Fnatic as well. They've not been farming in that area for a while. They've only sent jabs up there in that lane to secure those lane creeps, so not the biggest loss if they do actually drop this one.
Tornado gonna fly through. DJ's still just standing there behind a tree line, but understands there's no point being there, so he will just leave. And that T1 tower will drop for the side of T1.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
But I look over to Savage, and he's about 800 gold away from finishing off that Battle Fury now on the Troll. Just needs that final Mithril Hammer. And T1, they're going to just keep going up at that top lane.
Middle tower
They want to continue trying to apply pressure and take over that Dire side jungle, because they know that's where Savage is farming. But you're going to need that mid-tier 1 tower to really do that. Otherwise, you haven't really taken over full control.
Yeah, it's not going to be quite enough. I do like the wards they've dropped down. So it looks like they want to really shut this part of the map down. Should allow them much more aggressive moves later on, but again, you look across the map, Moon has been applying pressure towards that mid, and Tornado does not latch on.
They're just biding their time. Miracle does end up going for a Yasha into the Manta style now, so not going to go for that Radiance Rush, and I can't quite blame him. I think he will need those added stats to really be able to try and survive any kind of incoming ganks. Still going to be pretty hard though, even with that Manta.
Yeah, it's not quite going to be enough. It gives him a little bit more leeway, at least in these fights, but I think when it comes down to it, it's not going to speed your farm up by too much as well. So there are certain factors to consider when going into the Manta build. It does signal a bit more fight from T1 though. So once that's up, expect them to try to group up and play with their Haunt. We've not seen that just yet from Miracle.
Have you seen the build Moon's going for? He's got a Crystallis up.
I like it. It's an old right-click Mirana. It's been a while, but when you can get it started, you know, it can do the work for you.
It's very, very, it feels like it's been at least a year since we've seen that. Moon could be in trouble mid lane. He does take a fair bit of damage, but they don't really have the lockdown for him. He's just going to pop his haste rune, and he finds a regen anyway.
Oh,
That's going to be nice.
what is that? Luck.
It's luck. Jabs now has the Meteor Hammer up on the Winter Wyvern. He's been taking a lot of lane farm where lanes
That's
have
a
been
lot of
available.
stacks.
Yeah, some Ancients with a Battle Fury Troll. Never hurts to take them. You've let Ice
That's just a-
also start to catch up really nicely as well. He's got the Yule Scepter up now, getting even harder to kill off.
Yeah, I think that's going to be really helpful for his job of being a distraction. So it will stall out those fights a little bit more, and just gives him a lot more presence. You look at the progression from T1, you do have the Spirit Vessel up and running in IYD. It's just that he has no charges because, well, they haven't found a kill recently, so they're going to need to build up on that. The support's not really progressing too much in anything. Still looking at Phase Boots coming out for Paulson and the Glimmer Cape for Jokam. Our NP, Forev, does have the mech. They can give themselves a bit of a burst heal. I don't know if that's going to be enough considering just how much Fnatic has. Is working towards the pipe next, so pipe should mitigate the magic damage you are seeing coming out from DJ.
Absolutely. The mid tower, Moon does end up taking it out. T1 still trying to really find their footing in this game, just trying to secure more farm up.
Dire's top tower
Seems to be a delay game here. Just keep giving the Spectre space. Slowly working towards that Manta style still. Savage as well is going to be going for a Sergeant Yasha on that Troll Warlord, and mid lane there could be a fight breaking out. They have jumped onto Moon. Moonlight Shadow going to be there. Moon still very low. He actually went invis there for a second, but ultimately does end up going down, and Miracle immediately gives him the tip.
It's a really nice pickup for T1. A bit aggressive for Moon to be that deep in. Just want to clean up Jokam and couldn't quite get that job done. So good punishment from T1. Still.
Ollison.
Alton.
Toss back into the Meteor Hammer.
Oh.
Devastating. Devastating combination. Pollison.
Oh, man.
Yeah, he's going to have to sit there and think about what he's done. And here we go. Bounty has been set. Fnatic, all eyes are on the Spectre. Ice preemptively giving him the tip.
Just to get ready. Oh, man. Yeah, Miracle. It's still 8-4. T1 finding a bit more in terms of kills, but not really making that count for a net worth advantage. Savage still maintaining a substantial lead above everyone else and is working towards a very fast BKB. Oh.
Ice, tornadoed up, EMP, not going to land thanks to the Yules of Ice, but now he's surrounded. DJ gets in there, however, with a nice avalanche, and now Savage look to try and fight. There is a haunt being popped. Ghost form isn't helping Ice too much, but he's still alive. Now he does go down. Savage, he popped the battle trance. But the blinding light is going to make it so he does no damage, and now they may be able to turn back onto Savage. Though no, they don't. Winter's Curse comes out on DJ, tosses them into the Curse. They will burst down Pollison. Here comes Moon with the Starfall, taking down In Your Dream as well. Miracle trying to go after Jabs at least. They should be able to secure the Wyvern. But DJ, what are you doing? He's going for an avalanche toss onto the Prophet. Arrow not going to land. Forever will survive Moon. He wants to go in for the Starfall. It does land, but Forever is too tanky with that Hood of Defiance. He will get out of there. And DJ trying to run. He will make it out. But Moon will also walk out. And Bounty is yet to be claimed.
That's a bit messy from Fnatic. They don't manage to find the big kill they want on that spec, and they lose out on Savage as well. Just really risky to pop that battle trance right then. And DJ?
Yeah, he skipped the creep wave. Yeah, he thought he could hide behind the tree. He had his blink off cooldown, but it looks like it took him too long to decide where to blink to. Nice pick up there for T1. And well, T1, you know, they are still 5k net worth behind, but they just showed how they do intend to deal with this Fnatic draft. And as long as Ice gets removed from these team fights before they even start, then Miracle on the Spectre doesn't really even feel like he's in danger. And quite frankly, he's not really in danger at all.
No, and now a free Roche going to be taken. Goes down really fast with that alacrity you can give. It's just going to melt.
Aegis over to the Spectre. He's going to be feeling a lot safer. This game suddenly got a lot closer now. Fnatic, they're letting that net worth lead they had slip away just slowly but surely. And I wonder, what do you build into the Spectre now? Like, you've got that Manta up. What would you want next?
Heart? Just straight up heart? Just to bulk yourself up?
Into
It'll take a lot more. It still beefs you up a lot. Like, you need to drop her down proportionally, and the damage isn't quite up there yet from the rest of Fnatic besides Savage. So, is a way to kind of mitigate that risk.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Fnatic. Avalanche toss gonna be there onto Pollison. Pollison does try to block them out with shards, and now a nice snowball into Jabs, but ultimately will end up dying. Still just buying more and more time for Spectre. So it's not all bad news, just losing that pos 4 like that. Fnatic may start feeling like they need to start applying pressure though. Moon, Sunstrike actually ended up missing, but it doesn't matter. That's a great kill there for Miracle. Suddenly, T1. I don't know about this for Fnatic. Savage is trying to go by himself with that Battle Trance. BKB not gonna work.
No. What?
Oh boy.
Ooh. That's a big loss for Fnatic. The fresh 10-second charge gone. Big core gone. And T1, they're starting to bounce back in. They still are playing at the deficit, but Miracle is going to be an issue now. Like, he has just been allowed too much space. Fnatic has not been able to punish. Got to find a way to keep Ice alive. That's the key thing. He needs to be able to get that sight off, or otherwise there's no answer.
T1 is going to go down that T1 tower. Nice deny out from DJ. A lot of tips going out to DJ for that deny. Very, very nice indeed.
See you later, nerds.
But Fnatic, they're still on the back foot here. Well, I say back foot. They've got 4k worth of a net worth lead, but in terms of momentum right now, it's definitely the way of T1. Miracle, he actually puts the Radiance in the quick buy, so it looks like he is going to go back for the Radiance. He does have a lot of gold sitting on him right now, so I can't quite blame him.
Yeah, I think there's value in it. Just gives you a lot more durability up against the troll, and the mischance is something both Savage and Moon have to consider now. It's just going to be constantly there, and again, as long as you take care of Ice before anything major breaks out, you don't really have too much to worry about anyway on the spec. So there's a lot of things now starting to line up for T1. Fnatic, and they've got to find a solution to Miracle. They just need to be able to isolate him and sight him up. That's all they need.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Savage gonna start going down to that bot lane. Miracle is defending.
Dire's top tower is falling.
Arrow barely gonna miss, though now tossed back. There is gonna be a Reaper Scythe onto Jokam. They just secure the Keeper of the Light Kill, and now they look for a way onto that Spectre. The problem is you did use that Reaper Scythe. Still, they have plenty of damage to try and dish out with the Troll, but Fnatic, they look to just accept that kill and back off, and now the new bounty is going to be applied onto In Your Dream.
Dire are scanning.
Yeah, it's, I know about all these bounties, though. They haven't been claiming them. Although they are claiming the actual bounty runes.
Well, that's good. It's probably pretty important to get those ones. Yeah,
The one thing for T1 right now is, if you look at IYD, he is inching closer towards that Orchid. And once that's up, should give him an easy time to burst down one of these squishy supports, or even just Ice. Well, as soon as Ice uses the Guardian Greaves and Yules, it's going to be a sitting duck to that Orchid, and should allow a lot more control coming out from T1. You look at Forev as well. He did finish up his pipe on top of the mech earlier on. So now you've got a lot of durability to mitigate the magic damage coming out from Fnatic. And he's going straight into the Disarm, the Heaven's Halberd, to stop a lot of the damage from Savage or Moon from coming out.
That seems like a pretty good way to go. Forever, he's been doing quite nicely in terms of item progression. Well, that Halberd definitely going to help the cause for sure. The Fnatic just grouping up together right now. Protecting Savage, it seems. The Fnatic are actually going to intend on building a Silver Edge on this Troll Warlord to deal with the Spectre. I thought they'd initially just go for that Reaper Scythe, but they may feel like they need to use it for somebody else. So at least you have the Silver Edge there up against the Spectre for later on. If you do get to that point, of course.
Yeah, it's it just takes away a lot of damage she does do with Dispersion. So just gives you a way of not having to deal with that. Makes her a lot squishier as well. And should allow a faster time for Ice to just get the Reapers off. That's the key thing. Without that, it just takes too long to whittle down Miracle, considering the farm he has. So it's just a pretty nice pickup. You do see Savage finish the SNY first. Pretty late pickup onto that, but just gives him more stats to play with, and then I suppose the resists are nice.
Yeah, it seems that way. Savage. We continue farming up. Miracle does have the Radiance up now, so he's looking great. Going into that Abyssal Blade up next. That Abyssal, once you get that timing, it becomes very, very scary to go up against the Spectre. But we do have a Moonlight Shadow coming out now from Fnatic. Moon does get spotted. Paulson, nice dust out. Arrow does connect on In Your Dream, however, and a lot of pings are flying out. Now DJ gets the toss off on that Invoker. He will force staff away. Tornado there as well, but Moon is doing so much auto attack damage. He will take him out. Now the team fight does really start. They are chasing after that Mirana. Hauntin as well. Who are they going to make the jump on? It will be onto Jabs. No, the switch up is there. Miracle just not really making his decision, and now the Winter's Curse is to fly out from Jabs. Avalanche, toss, Meteor Hammer, all being thrown out, but a great snowball save from Paulson. None of it hits. And with that, Forev will end up dying, but Jabs does also die. And now Savage going to turn around. Paulson will be the one to take the Reaper's Sight. And DJ is still making the chase onto Miracle, but he won't quite have a toss target. So instead, they will go ahead and secure the bottom tier 2 tower.
It's not the ideal set of targets for Fnatic. You know they really were looking for Miracle. But they do still win out in the end, widening their lead to 9k on the gold. And they are starting to bounce back in terms of map control. Just 2 tier 2s left for T1 before it starts disappearing, and just gives them a lot more control in that bot jungle. So just waiting for the opportunity to jump onto Miracle, and there are still tools there for T1. You saw that snowball save, of course, just highly disruptive if they don't manage to isolate that Tusk. And that's always going to be a consistent worry now for Fnatic.
We've seen Moon now as well, trying to pick up a Desolator on that Mirana. He's trying to really amplify that right-click damage. It's kind of close to it as well. He can almost afford to just buy it outright. Miracle was essentially untouched during that last team fight, which was really great for T1.
Yeah, it's just really hard for Fnatic to go all in on Miracle. And that fight was pretty split up as well. Savage was on the low ground, trying to isolate out Forev for a very long time, while everyone else was up high chasing Miracle. So they need to maybe reel in the fight, make it a bit tighter. They do have better control on a wide AoE thanks to the Winter's Curse, but you do have to still consider Jocam's Will-O-Wisp. So after perhaps the Will-O-Wisp is out.
You've got an MKB now on Savage, you've got a Deso coming out on Moon, and you've got a Pipe on Ice Ice Ice. So a really big item progression, and Miracle doesn't get over that little ditch, but it won't matter.
Yeah, and now you've got the disarm as well onto Forev. So you have some solutions to these issues, but still looking pretty scary. I think Moon with the Desolator, though, makes it a lot stronger for both Savage and Moon. The minus armor is just going to do so much work when they rely on these right clicks and immediate smoke up with these item pickups.
I don't blame them for that. They are going to run into the Radiant side triangle to try and get that big team fight they want. You could also just go into the Roshan if you don't find anybody. Roshan is just sitting there waiting to be taken. But Fnatic really want that team fight. So Moon, he's going to try and bait in the side of T1. But they aren't going to find anyone, so instead, Jabs does scout out the Rosh. Fnatic still seem unwilling to take it. There are pings now coming out for that Roshan pit. They will eventually go back for it.
Yeah, and again, you've got that Desolator, you've got a Troll. It's not going to be up for too long.
Or even the Orb of Destruction is there from Moon. That is so much minus armor.
Yeah, it's just that's just kind of ridiculous. It's basically 11 armor lost, straight up. That's more than Assault Curious would give you.
Savage gonna start rotating up towards that top lane again. T1 looks like they won't really be willing to defend this. They may just let it go down.
Yeah, and That is falling a bit too fast, and T1 will just have to surrender it. There is still one tier 2 left. I don't think Fnatic will leave that lying around for too long. And once that's cleared out, of course, the entire map is just opened up for Fnatic.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
You look at Ice as well, John. He's going to have that Aghanim Scepter coming up.
Radiant's middle tower
That's that point where it becomes really hard for the Spectre. It just buffs up so many debuffs for Ice to have, all of which are going to work up against the Spectre very well. And I think you just prioritize this, like just go for the Ags first. You essentially become unkillable. That Heartstopper aura doing 5% damage a second or something like that is kind of ridiculous.
That's it just makes it harder for T1 to stay in that long fight, as you mentioned, and T1 recently hasn't been able to shut Ice down. Like, Ice for the most part is forced to sight up supports, but they're still finding those kills. So it's starting to become an issue here for T1. And again, despite having the kill lead, it's now a 13k gold advantage for Fnatic. They've just used this map space really well, and T1 are still starving out. You have decent farm on Miracle, but he's still saving up for the Abyssal, and even then, the Abyssal's not going to stop the onslaught from Fnatic.
Bounties are coming out. Fnatic want to try and force a big team fight again.
Radiant's middle
They may go high ground with this Aegis now. It's just hard to find a way to initiate with this kind of draft here from Fnatic. You're kind of relying either on Moon or DJ to get that initiation in. Maybe even jabs on that Wyvern. In your dream, we'll push out the top lane as well, so you kind of got to go back and defend that. So jabs will take care of it. It's just going to continue to buy more time for T1. It looks like the side of T1 will also smoke up now, but they run straight into Moon with that Moonlight Shadow, trying to burst him down, and he does go down. Savage going to run in with his B, trying to go after Polison. Polison being quite good at kiting away from this troll, but now the BKB's worn off. Still, Savage doesn't really have a target. And Ice getting controlled up. He's Treant blocked right now. He is completely surrounded by Treants. He is just stuck.
Oh.
Now the Sprout is there as well. There is going to be a huge kill though. Miracle ends up going down to Savage. And Paulson trying to go after DJ. Savage still dealing with In Your Dream. They do take him out. That is really bad news for the side of T1. And they will chase for more. Joe Cam is going to be the... no, never mind. They don't hit with the slow.
Oh, this is really bad for T1. They got sighted on IYD, and he doesn't have buyback hold, so he's going to have to sit through this extended respawn timer.
DJ, Avalanche, not going to be there. You delay things out with the blinding light. Not going to be delaying things too often, though. DJ trying to find a toss back. Avalanche going to be there onto Polson, but Fnatic will ignore him. Of course, they can sprout the racks up like that, but Savage does still have the Battle Fury to cut through the tree line. Does eventually get that mid-racks, and now on to the bottom, although great toss back from DJ. Paulson now forced the snowball, but where's he going? He is going onto the Tiny, all the way outside his base, and he's going to be surrounded once again. He does pop his BKB charge, and a nice shards out from Paulson as well. He does get away, but look at Savage. He's not even chasing the task. He's going after that tier 3 bot tower. And to make matters worse, Ice now has the Ags. Toss back into that Necrophos. Ice just sitting there AFK right now. Did he DC? He's literally just sitting there. There we go. He starts moving again. Snowball is onto Savage. He is still just fighting near the fountain of the Radiant side. They are really falling quite low. Now the ensnares come out from Polison. He does end up going down. The Aegis has expired though on Savage. But that probably won't force them back.
No. Definitely not. You've got the Daedalus up on Moon as well. Additional damage coming out. And they're still going to try to defend. Ice is done.
Yeah, he's literally just standing there AFK. He's just, I have Heartstopper aura. I'm doing my job. Reaper Scythe will come out. Forev doesn't take too much damage out of that. Savage will just keep going. Now the Horn from Miracle onto that Troll Warlord. Can you actually deal with Savage?
Oh.
It looks like they can. He does go down now. And the rest of Fnatic will have to back out. They'll also lose Moon on the Mirana. Toss back onto Forev. But Ice is kind of stuck right now. He'll keep Ghost forming up. He's got it on a 10-second cooldown. Cold Embrace there from Jabs. Can you actually kill this Necrophos? Snowball onto DJ. Now Forev getting stunned up. Sunstrike not going to land. They do get the silence off by Ice. Guardian Greaves, but does eventually die. Now the Winter's Curse, though. It will be onto Miracle, and he does end up dying to his own tusk. And all the tips come out for Jabs, even in your dream joining in with the tips.
That was the play coming out from Fnatic, and they got wiped, except for Jabs, but they find the objectives anyway. Maybe messed around a bit too much with Ice just standing there for the most part. He's not even in range for the Heartstopper, you know? He was so far back. He was just there. It's a bit silly, but Fnatic now have a Rax advantage. 15k net worth lead. T1, you're losing Miracle a bit too much there. He needs to live through all of this damage, and you look at the net worth, Mike. Miracle's about 6k behind, and even then, he's only about 1k ahead of Ice. Ice, who kept dying early in that game. So there's a lot of things that still needs to be done here for T1. Although Forev does manage to build up the Monkey King bar, see he can dish some damage out onto the Troll, especially when the axes come out. It's just his right-click damage isn't that impressive anywhere.
Just need every bit of damage you can get right now if you are T1, it seems. We are still getting closer to that Abyssal. He needs the recipe on the Spectre. And we'll be able to farm that up soon, and I'm sure they'll try to just get that completed before they go in any further with team fights up against Fnatic. Moonlight Shadow, though, has been used. Savage going to run straight into the Coddle with a first hidden snare, but DJ, nice toss into Jokan. The Force Staff does not matter.
No, definitely doesn't, and just one more kill on the kill board for Fnatic. You take a look at how they're itemizing as well on Moon. Going straight for that Moon Shard. The Machine Gun Mirana build making a reappearance. I have to say it's pretty fun to watch. No Maelstrom this time though, but who needs that when you can just melt right through him?
Yeah, why not? Both teams may also just wait out the Roshan. Like, Fnatic may be unwilling to go high ground again without that Aegis. I say that though, look at Jabs. He kind of just Glimmer Capes up. Curse going to be there onto Miracle with the Meteor Hammer and the arrow there as well. Now DJ will jump in. They do take out a lot of HP, but Snowball in from Polison. Haunt being popped as well by the Spec, just trying to juke them out right now. DJ, are you going in or out? He wants to get out, but Moon does dish out a lot of damage, so Miracle, he's actually going to hide in the Roshan pit. What are Yules coming out, though? They do catch him out, but Moon misses the arrow. Miracle is trapped up right now between some ice shards and does end up dying.
No buyback. He doesn't even finish the Abyssal, and no buyback. 400 away. This is going to be a really hard defense. Oh no.
Yeah.
It's going to be such a hard defense. I don't think you can even defend. Like, Savage just runs up there. Towers are all gone. Last rack's going to be gone.
Well, there's an Ags up on in your dream now, so maybe he could do some crazy Invoker stuff. It's pretty hard though. That top rack's going to melt quite quickly. Moon just eats the cheese. That'll be Megas. Meanwhile, Ice just standing there AFK again. Just doesn't really care. Now walks away with the Ghost Shroud, heals himself up. DJ does die to the Sunstrike damage. There is going to be the Will-O-Wisp being dropped now. Moon going after Polison. Polison with the Glimmer Cape, though, will survive. Jabs will smoke everyone up. And just try and run, though. Great Winter's Curse back onto Polison, but now a Tornado onto that Winter Wyvern. Savage getting started onto Joe Cam. There goes your task. Nice Force Staff there on the Coddle, but 23 Savage, he pops that Battle Trance. Disarm out now from Forev, just protecting himself.
Oh.
Savage may actually end up dying and does do so, but now in your dream, getting tossed back by DJ. It won't matter though if you don't have the damage, and well, DJ's just stuck in the trees right now, needs to get out of there. So does Moon, but they will both die. On the bright side though, they got Megas before they died, but this is a chance for T1.
Yeah, did you see Ice? He just bailed out early.
Yeah.
He just left. He just left him. Instead of staying to heal up, maybe pop the pipe. Nah, he's done dying. They did their job. No more commitments. He just wants to farm. Oh, he has a 25 as well.
Oh,
What's
good.
he opting for?
I
Which
guess the
talent
hearts.
do you go for?
You go for the aura.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. Witty Ags in the Ghost Shroud. That's not fun. Not fun to fight into.
You don't really want to give up this Roshan if you're Fnatic. That's I mean, they're feeling confident. Clearly, they do have mega creeps. But this, you know, giving an Aegis away like this can be problematic, and it does have a Refresher Shard on top of that. But now, they are making their way there, but it's really only Jabs. He does commit the curse to get himself out, but Forev has secured the kill now on the Prophet. And with that Roshan definitely going to die. Their tier 4s are being pushed in at the moment though.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Still going to be pushed in. That Roshan's still not dead. They will eventually end up taking it out. And Courier? Did it get anything? No, Ice's Courier was trying to steal some stuff, but doesn't get away with it.
Yeah, and that's a nice turn for T1. You look at that net worth advantage, Mike drops down to 3k. Pretty big swing by the side of T1, but it's tricky. You're still up against Megas. You can't quite reach those tier 3s, and Fnatic, they're respawning. Slowly just gonna be building up once more before committing to that high ground.
What does Dota Plus say right now? Oh, it actually went up substantially after that last team fight in Roshan. It was sitting around 95%, but for the side of Fnatic, but now it's actually at 87%. So T1, 13% chance of winning this game. It's not too bad considering the circumstances.
Yeah, it's still pretty slim, but there are opportunities here. This is still a character that is being given time and space to grow big, so you are starting to see Miracle build up, but Fnatic, Moonlight Shadow, it's only DJ though up in front.
Yeah, they'll just Moonlight for the bounties, it seems.
The prize is mine.
They're also trying to buy time for Savage to buy his own Abyssal Blade now. He'll have that up pretty soon, assuming he actually doesn't say for buyback. I imagine he will. Ice pops the Ghost Shroud, just walking into the mid lane. Moon now on the side. Polison does spot him out with the Sunstrikes coming in, and they are going to find the kills. Ooh. And now the snowball into Jabs as well. This is a huge team fight for the side of T1. They do get the curse off, but they have lost too. And Miracle can keep trying to chase here onto DJ. Shards going to be there with the Walrus Punch from Polison to finish the job off. And Fnatic, you can't count your chickens before they hatch, John.
No, definitely not. No buybacks on the two supports. This is a big opportunity for T1 to push down an objective. And they certainly can, although it does look like Savage will try to make that as hard as possible by kind of getting a split push of his own.
Forev is already in base, ready to defend though. But I guess if Savage just commits all the way, you kind of don't want to be up there with the Nature's Prophet up against Troll. Like Savage will just TP out anyway. He's going to come back in for the defense. Nullify is also up on Miracle. The repair kit always going to be a nuisance for the person trying to chase that high ground push.
Yeah, and they're just kind of forced back. They can't really go for the push now. Ports are respawning in a bit. And T1, they actually drag that net worth lead to their side. Miracle, with that Nullifier, it's a lot harder to deal with now on the spec. Really starting to pump out that damage and the control. So Fnatic, they need to get that sight on the Spectre. They just need to toss ice there, sight him down, burst him down, and seal out the game for themselves if that's what they want to do. But looks like a multiple connection problems for every side means that we have a bit more of a wait.
Yeah, we do. And with that wait, nobody's playing Playground. There are Meepos popping up on the screen. Oh, there we go. Moon's got it. He does win. They were just kind of left there. He just took the W for the team. And we'll get back into it. Everyone's back.
You know, there is a bit of concern here with Fnatic. You're at the point now where the Spectre is just a bit wild. The potency of Moon on the Mirana feels like it is slipping a bit away, especially when he is isolated. So you can't afford to have Moon too far forward now. And you most certainly want some buyback gold to be up and running on Fnatic. They've put themselves in a bit of a perilous situation, just bordering on the edge of bleeding out this game.
Well, Fnatic, they're going to start roaming in through the mid lane. Just single file. Do get spotted out, but they'll get a D ward out there onto the die triangle, or the Radiant triangle. Miracle is still very far forward, just farming. Trying to bait for his team, it looks like. Who has the refresher shard, by the way? Did they ever use it?
I never noticed that one. Maybe they just
No,
gave
the
it
Keeper of the
to
Light. They have it on the
Yeah.
Coddle. Yep.
just a Will-O-Wisp. Really nice spell to have, and a nice scan out from Fnatic.
Salamene smiles upon me.
Very long route to take here for T1. Just going to run all the way around their own jungle. Fnatic. Smoke up again. They give up the high ground, but they're going to go for... they're going to try and snake the base, it looks like. They're going to take the Radiant high ground, and your Dream does break the smoke now. Horns coming out with a great Will-O-Wisp, and now the Cataclysm. It's going to be a lot of damage. What a combination, but it may not matter. Savage pops the BKB, starts going. It's currently a 2-for-1 trade, but there is a buyback now. And Savage getting low, does get the Battle Trance off, but he's been tornadoed up. Refresh, another Will-O-Wisp is there. A miracle. He does find Savage. He doesn't have buyback gold. Ice now going to be in trouble with DJ as well. And Fnatic, what have you done?
Oh boy.
There's a defense going on here just by Forever as the Ancient was exposed. But they do clear out pretty much everyone. DJ is still trying to run, but Miracle is on the chase with Jokam. More daggers flying out. They're not finding the Tiny. And Ice is the one punch man, apparently.
DJ? What are you planning on doing?
Oh. Where is he? There he is.
Jokam?
He's still hiding in the tree line. Avalanche Toss is there in your dream with a tornado
DJ.
now as well. DJ goes to the ghost form. There is going to be... No, you can't... Imagine he got away with that. That would have been disgusting. Illuminate will take
that
him
would
out.
have been wrong. That would have been so wrong if he got away. And Fnatic, boy, are they trying to throw this one out. I have to say that is just a bit silly of them. They tried to make it work, not quite enough. That refresh really worked against them there. And fortunately for Fnatic, T1 just cannot push fast enough. The respawns are coming up. And this is going to give Fnatic enough time to come back in for the defense. It's so odd that T1 is just hanging by their Ancient. Every single fight that stalls out just a bit too much can work because the creep wave will just go straight to the
It's
the
literally just
titular
the
Ancient. Yeah, it's just that's it. T1 holding on by the skin of their teeth, and man, it's just on the edge for them.
Yeah, there's nothing else blocking them. There's going to be a refresher orb now coming out on
no.
Jokam. So you've got double Will-O-Wisp. There's a lot on the line here as well for that next Roshan, because you're going to have a refresher shard there as well as an Aghanim's Blessing. Wait, does Refresher Shard work on Refresher Orb?
Yeah, you
Because
know what?
because you could have 4 Will-O-Wisps going on at the same time.
I have no clue. I would be very terrified of that possibility. That does not sound fair.
Well, lines being drawn out through the mid and top lane. For T1, that is.
Man. You look at Savage. Look what he's building up next. He's just trying to go for the Divine. Just go
Why
all
not?
in. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it's enough. They've been controlling him really well. The disarms coming out. The stuns after his preemptive BKBs. It's just not enough for him to stand there. And Fnatic needs to toss someone else in to start these fights. Besides Savage. He just cannot be
Miracle's got a double
kited
damage.
around.
They smoked up.
Radiant are scanning.
It's hitting very hard right now with that DD rune. Jabs, though, going to break. The smoke does spot out. Curse up the Tusk. There is going to be a Haunt, though. Miracle gets Abyssal Bladed up now, but the Will-O-Wisp has been dropped. Savage uses the BKB and Battle Trance, but can't really find a target for himself. This could be bad. They stun him back up. Now Avalanche flying out as well, but really nobody's dying yet. There is the Reaper Scythe being committed on Forev. He doesn't die either. Now the Cataclysm, they do kill off Savage. Forev does go down. Moon almost falling as well. Miracle trying to go after Necrophos and Ice. He will go Shroud up again, but Miracle is really dedicated to trying killing this man off. Ice with the TP. Does actually get out in time, but they did also lose Moon on that Mirana. Now the chase is on for DJ. They do get the Warrior's Punch. Snowball doesn't land, but Miracle should be able to kill off this kill, and Jabs also dies. But back at the Radiant base, there are creeps coming in. There's no creep waves for T1 to be able to push into. So this does give time for Fnatic.
They can't push. They win the fights and they just can't push the objectives. They just can't go for them. I think we're going to hit the point where T5s come out. And that's going to be the great equalizer in this game. It's just tough. Like, there's been no progress for Savage towards that Divine. And again, I'm really not sure if that's the answer here. You saw how much he was being kited around. It's getting tricky for him to find a target, and it looks like he is queuing up the Nullifier instead. So that could potentially help. You look at Moon, queuing up the Satanic as well. There's just no gold. There's really no gold right now in these cores. They've bled it all away from these constant deaths. They need to find some space to at least save for the buybacks, because there is a lot of pressure now from Tier 1. Like, look at that. 13k advantage all of a sudden. And you look at the win probability, Mike. 55% for T1.
Uh-oh. That's not
massive
good news
bounce.
for Fnatic.
Dire's bottom tower is under
It's a massive bounce. The Roche is up as well. T1 could easily go for it, but they're just kind of shoving out the waves for now.
There's a hard up now on Miracle.
tower is under attack.
It's looking very, very tough to deal with now on that Spectre. Of course, look at how many couriers are around the Roshan pit right now. Everyone's courier from the Dire is at the Roshan pit. They've literally got all their couriers there having a picnic at the Roshan pit, and
Dire's middle tower
they know it's up. Push into the mid lane, of course. Fnatic have a repair kit, and there's backdoor protection, but Forev, he's hitting hard.
are fortified. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
They're going to go back for the Roche. All couriers flying out now. They do kill off Moon's courier. So T1's almost guaranteed to get this Roshan. It's just going to be a matter of how much the couriers can take off them. They aren't going to make it in time to fight this out. They're trying to get there.
Oh,
Courier,
ice? Nothing.
Nothing. Okay.
No.
Meanwhile, Polison getting caught out. Reaper Scythe, Arrow is there. Reaper Scythe on a full HP target, mind you. Winter's Curse comes out now. Polison is going to die. Oh, these pauses. My goodness. So many crashes going on for T1.
See you later, nerds.
Yeah, it's, well. Yep. EJ. Got a point. Play some Dota. Come on.
The
It's
reconnect.
a bit tricky. Who got the blessing? Yeah, there you go. Thank you, fellow caster. It's the NP Ags blessing.
Nice.
So more damage on the rat, and of course, potential for greater treants coming out. That's one way to get the push out.
Yeah, the Greater Treants may actually be able to defend against the Mega Creep somewhat. Not entirely, but it does definitely help Forev, who has been on defense duty this whole time. Everyone just going to get out of there. A casual gem has just been left on the deck. Nobody cares. No space left, really. We are at the 55-minute mark. Do you just wait for 60 minutes now, if you're Fnatic?
I'd say yes. Just pick it up. Just get those tier 5 items up and running. Right now, Miracle is just uncontrollable. Every single time Ice is forced to Reaper someone else, they just need to. If they catch Miracle out, that could potentially be it. Wow.
Oh, the ranged hex with the Prince's knife.
Yeah, with the tree grab toss. It's, that is
ridiculous.
Silly.
That is ridiculous.
Oh.
Here we go again. He's going to just toss another tree in. Here we go. Miracle. No, it was an illusion this time. DJ got the wrong one. And Miracle is just... he might go on Moon right now. He has the Abyssal, and they'll jump in. Cataclysm going to be there, not really landing on much. In fact, that was just the Sunstrike. Both teams just going to attempt to avoid each other for now.
Yeah, it's
Moonlight.
slow build up, although Moonlight.
They really want that Spectre. Arrow going to land. That's a 5-second stun. Ice has been up at the top lane. He's not actually joining his team. He's finally going to walk over now.
Oh man, it's a tricky fight for both sides. It's a tricky game for both sides. You look, the win probability bounces back to Fnatic, 52% chance they win. So I don't reckon our AI knows what's up anymore, Mike.
Neither do I, John. Forev has a moonshot up. Gonna go for a satanic afterwards.
Yeah, he hits like a truck. Might as well kind of go for it. And there is a smoke from Fnatic. Savage does break it, so oh no, it was just the it was just a ninja gear, I suppose. 4 jabs, of course. What you'd expect from the Winter Wyvern.
Yep. Savage is still trying to go for that Silver Edge. We were talking about that about 20-30 minutes ago now. Just decides he might need it this time around. So it looks like he will go back towards it. Maybe
like
the Sanjin
it gets a bit
Yasha.
tricky. Yeah, just swap out the S and Y, swap it back in the fight.
Radiant are scanning.
It is starting to be difficult with all your slots up still. Another Moonlight. You have the 25 talent Moon.
Oh, so you can just spam Moonlight over and over again now.
Dire are scanning.
In your dream, gonna run into Jabs, and we'll get
Oh.
the Spirit Vessel Cold Snap off onto Jabs, but he has Ice around, but here comes Forev, and... have I disconnected now? I think I have.
Yeah, the Ice getting jumped in. Will-O-Wisp is there. All the control in the world. Savage jumping onto Forev. Not quite enough. Forev does get to go away, and Miracle now catching out second Will-O-Wisp. They do manage to freeze up Forev. He's still alive. They get the sight off onto the Tusk. Falson taken out. Savage left behind. Is
Alright, I'm
dead.
back.
Does have buyback.
Alright, thank you for that, John. So, looked like a pretty big team fight, but Well, now DJ, he jumps in on that
DK?
Tiny. Cold Embrace going to be there. Spirit Vessel on top of him. Now the Will-O-Wisp being dropped as well. DJ going to fall quite low here as Miracle continues moving forward. They toss him backwards, but DJ will die. He'll buy back immediately as Jabs comes in as well. Now Ice with the Ghost Shroud trying to jump onto that Spectre. And they are starting to surround him slowly but surely. Savage jumps in with the Abyssal Blade now. Miracle's going to start getting very low. Arrow as well. This should be the death of the Spec, and it is. He does have buyback.
It's going to be back and forth. This is probably the last engagement. Everyone kind of expending their big buybacks there. Especially in Fnatic's side. That was literally nearly every single hero except Moon.
Oh, here come
So
those
you are
2-5
seeing
items.
Yeah, perfect timing. Right when T1 isn't quite able to go out of base as well.
So 4 Spoots are there on the Necrophos. Ice. Take those for himself. The rest of Fnatic look like they're done waiting for this, and well, they just jump in with the battle trance. Forever will be able to walk out of there for now, just trying to protect that Ancient.
Oh, no.
Fnatic, they are going on to Miracle. He's in big trouble. Cataclysm is there. Now the Winter's Curse as well. A secondary Cataclysm. It is not going to matter. The Ancient, it's under siege. However, In Your Dream jumps in with a huge disarm with the Deafening Blast. He does kill off Savage. Ice is still around with Jabs. They are rushing the Ancient. It is not mattering though as they are killing them off. Ice now needing to back off with the tosses. Flying in, not enough. In Your Dream does die, but Moon also dies. And the Ancient remains safe. Just barely. Or does it? DJ? Still get the Hex off with that tree. He can actually deal damage to the Ancient with tosses. Ice going to come back in now. They're going to just kill them by torturing them here with the tosses. Slowly, but surely, forever.
Oh, man.
Getting it controlled by that Hex. More tosses flying in. Moon, ignoring the Ancient, does go after the kill. And then eventually does finish it off.
Oh, what is that? What was that?
That was Fnatic, John.
What a way to close out that series. T1. They gave us a good show. There were a couple of moments that looked good. Fnatic in the end, they win. You know, they just make it work. Apparently, they just needed a fight like that. They needed to drag it to an R, and they still went out.
Unfortunately for the side of T1, they've got another hard matchup straight after this. They are versing Adroit, who are currently sitting at the top of the round robin group stage, I believe. Yeah, they are.
Oh, yeah.
So Adroit versing T1 coming up after this. There should be roughly a 20-minute break. It is MLP Dota and JohnXFire. We'll see you as soon as that Game 1 draft has begun.